That girl made a comment, "Dakota is short, and she cannot beat me." She sounded confident, dismissive even. But now, after what went down, she'll almost certainly attract a lot of attention, especially now that the PFL is entering another tour, and the stakes have never been higher. Looking ahead, the possible matchups are going to be massive. The names being thrown around, the promise of what's next, it all gives me goosebumps. Because when I watch a fight card like the one this weekend, I see something more than just a lineup of bouts. I see myself. That's exactly where I belong. I feel the same drive every other fighter does on that roster. It does not matter to me whether I'm fighting Chelsea Hackett or someone else. I am zeroed in. My focus, my dedication, and my mindset, they don't change based on the name across from me. When I step into that cage, I'm not doing it for the opponent's reputation, or for their ranking, or because they have fewer points than me. I want to fight to win because I want to prove something fundamental, that I belong at the top. That I deserve to be sitting at the top of the table. All of this, every grueling training session, every sacrifice, it's for me. It's not about anyone else being lesser. It's about me being the best I can be. My mentality is clear. I go in to kill or be killed. No games. No excuses. No half measures. I bring everything because that's what this sport demands. I know that every fight could be my moment, and that's exactly how I treat each one. But then there's Dakota. What she did inside that cage to Chelsea Hackett stunned the entire country. It wasn't just a win. It was a statement. It was a reminder that she's not just another contender, she's a force. Let me take you through what happened. Chelsea Hackett walked into the cage with exactly the kind of swagger you see from someone who truly believes in their own skills. In the pre-fight interviews, she spoke with that rare calm confidence, as though she already envisioned herself handing Dakota her first professional defeat. Her background in Muay Thai gave her real credibility. She's a striker with discipline, with flair, with power. She believed her movement, her timing, and her power shots would be enough to break Dakota's defenses. She expected to keep her at bay, to pick her apart, and to control the pace of the fight. But from the moment the bell rang, Dakota proved that she'd prepared for exactly what Chelsea was planning. She came out fast, sharp, and precise. She pressed pressure right away, cutting off the cage, not letting Hackett settle. Her jabs were crisp, her body kicks landed cleanly, and she used her footwork to keep the center. Every strike she threw felt intentional and meaningful. She wasn't just trying to win, she was sending a message: I came to dominate. Chelsea tried to respond. She landed some kicks early, trying to establish distance, using her movement to avoid Dakota's incoming combinations. But she struggled to handle Dakota's timing. Every time she moved, Dakota distorted the distance, twisted angles, and found openings. Her combinations weren't random, they were calculated, rhythmic, and smart. And underneath them all was power. She wasn't just landing, she was affecting Chelsea with each shot. Then it happened. Roughly 1 minute into the first round, Dakota found the moment she needed. She landed a crushing blow to Chelsea's body, a shot so well placed that it visibly hurt Hackett. You could see Chelsea's breath catch. She stumbled slightly under the onslaught. Dakota seized the moment. She didn't pause. She didn't let Chelsea recover. Instead, she kept pressing, increasing the intensity, moving in with a flurry of strikes. Chelsea tried to defend and cover up, but Dakota's pressure was relentless. She turned the cage into her canvas, painting combinations and mixing punches and kicks in a way that left Hackett scrambling for answers. There was no breathing room. There was no safe space. And then came another devastating shot, another clean hit that landed flush. Chelsea's defense broke. She couldn't repel the storm. Seconds later, she collapsed to the canvas. The referee stepped in. It was over, a TKO. Just 1 minute and 39 seconds into the fight. Dakota had done what she came to do. She dismantled an experienced striker. She affirmed her dominance. She preserved her undefeated record. And she made a statement to everyone watching: she is not here to ride the wave. She is here to lead. Chelsea sat there, stunned. On the canvas, the realization must have washed over her: she had underestimated Dakota. She had counted on her discipline, her power, and her Muay Thai pedigree, but Dakota's speed, her precision, and her killer instinct were on another level entirely. She didn't just compete, she owned the cage. She controlled the tempo. She dictated the fight. From bell to bell, from bell to stoppage, she did it all. This was more than a win for Dakota. It was a turning point. It shifted how the division would see her. This was not just another notch on the resume. This was her coming-of-age moment. The kind of performance that demands recognition. Already, talking heads, fans, and insiders are asking the same question: who's next for her? People are calling for a title shot. And why not? After a performance like that, arguing she's not a contender would feel disingenuous. Dakota Duka is no longer just the future. She's absolutely the present. To understand just how significant this win was, it helps to revisit her earlier fights, how she built herself up, how she mastered her craft, and how she laid the foundation for this moment. In her professional debut, which took place on April 10, 2021, at Cage Steel 25 in Doncaster, England, Dakota faced Jenny Line. It was a highly anticipated bout. Neither fighter had turned pro before, yet both carried the hopes of their respective camps. The crowd watched eagerly as the cage door closed, and both women stared each other down. They understood what was at stake. For Dakota, there was an unspoken determination. This was her launch pad. When the bell rang, there was no reckless rush. Jenny, with quick footwork, circled early, looked to maintain range, probed with her jab, and tried to unsettle Dakota's rhythm. She looked confident and composed. She wanted to impose her own pace. But Dakota had patience. She didn't go berserk. She didn't overcommit. She studied Jenny's movement and waited for openings. Then she drew her moment. First came a sharp leg kick, not wild, but deliberate. It landed clean. Jenny shifted, trying to adjust her stance. Immediately after, Dakota stepped in. Her right hand connected flush on Jenny's chin. It stunned her. The impact was real. Jenny tried to fire back, but Dakota had already read her timing. She began to walk her down. As Jenny backed toward the cage, Dakota increased her pressure. She threw a feint, then came in with a left hook, and followed up with a knee to the body. Jenny tightened up. You could see the pain. Dakota didn't relent. She grabbed the clinch, using her Muay Thai background to gain control. In that clinch, she unleashed another knee to the midsection. Jenny's defenses started to crumble. Her responses slowed. Sensing the shift, Dakota didn't wait. She unloaded. A barrage of punches rained down, short hooks and straight rights, each shot purposeful, each landing. Jenny tried to protect herself, but the volume and precision were overwhelming. The referee moved in. Jenny was absorbing clean shots and simply could not respond with effective defense. She wasn't throwing back. She wasn't defending intelligently. The ref stopped it. It was a first-round TKO victory for Dakota. A dominant, clinical performance, especially for a debut. She showed not just power, but fight IQ. She adjusted, she exploited timing, and she stayed composed under pressure. The crowd roared as she stood over the cage, having announced herself not just as a prospect but as someone to be feared. Jenny Line, though brave and prepared, couldn't match the maturity and finishing ability Dakota displayed. From that very first match, Dakota showed she had more than hype, she had substance. She had composure. She was calm, yet deadly. And that performance laid the foundation for everything that came next. Over time, Dakota's rise has been marked not just by wins, but by how she wins. She doesn't just outstrike or outgrapple, she does both with a clear plan. She uses her reach, her timing, and her game intelligence. She studies her opponents, crafts strategies, and executes with ruthless precision. Her recent performance against Chelsea Hackett elevated her to another level. That fight wasn't just about physical dominance. It was about mental supremacy. She got into Chelsea's head. By coming out fast and with purpose, she removed any chance for Chelsea to settle. She imposed her will right away. And once she saw the opening, the moment to land a big shot, she didn't hesitate. What's most impressive is how Dakota leveraged all her skills. Her striking wasn't just volume, it was accuracy. Her footwork wasn't just a move, it was to create angles, set up shots, and land damage. And when she injured Hackett with that body shot, she didn't back off. She compressed, she attacked, and she finished. That's not just a striker's heart. That's a warrior's mindset. The stoppage in the first round, at just 1 minute and 39 seconds, underscores just how dangerous she is. She didn't need 5 rounds to prove a point. She did it almost immediately. Her timing, her power, her composure, all of it came together in one devastating package. Now, after that fight, you can feel the shift in the division. People are talking. Analysts are recalibrating their predictions. Fans are wondering who can possibly stop her. The PFL matchmakers surely have their work cut out for them. The next opponent will matter, not just in terms of ranking, but in terms of spectacle. Because Dakota is no longer just climbing. She's arrived. And that's exactly the kind of position I dream about being in. Watching her fight, I feel inspired. I see a roadmap. When she closed the distance, landed that body shot, and followed up relentlessly, that's the kind of fight I want. Not because I want a cheap win. Not because I fear better competition. But because I know that if I'm going to be one of the best, I need to beat the best. I need to test myself. I need to show that regardless of who is across the cage, I bring that same intensity, that same will to win, and that same commitment to finishing. When someone performs at that level, it forces everyone else to raise their game. Maybe I'm not next, but I will be soon, and I want to be ready. I want to learn what works, what doesn't, how to handle big moments, how to impose my will, and how to be decisive. What Dakota did was not only earn her respect, it changed how the division sees her. And by extension, it changes how fighters like me plot our path. We can't afford to half-step. We can't afford to underestimate. We have to train smarter. We have to fight harder. We have to bring everything. When I imagine my own next 16 years, yes, 16, don't see it as a far-off fantasy. I see it as a long road of growth, of legacy building. I think, what is the best thing I can do with that time? What is the smart path to not just be in the PFL but to dominate it? To carve out a place where, when people talk about the future of women's MMA, my name comes up alongside names like Dakota Duka. I see myself preparing for every possible matchup. I study potential opponents. I imagine what different styles might bring. I train accordingly, striking, wrestling, and groundwork. I fine-tune my mental strength, because championship-level fights are not won only with fists and legs. They're won with heart, with strategy, and with composure when things go sideways. I know that one day, I'll step into a cage knowing what's on the line. Maybe it'll be for a title. Maybe it'll be a high-stakes match that determines rankings or tour standings. Whatever it is, I will walk in not just confident but absolutely certain of what I'm capable of. Because I've built myself step by step, fight by fight, failure by failure, and victory by victory. Back to Dakota and Chelsea, that fight will be remembered. Not just because of the quick finish, but because of how Dakota dismantled Chelsea's game. She neutralized the threat before it even fully materialized. She didn't wait for Chelsea to impose her Muay Thai rhythm or her power. She forced her into a place she didn't want to be, and she capitalized. It's rare to see such a dominant performance against an opponent of Chelsea's caliber so early in a career arc. But Dakota made it look easy. She made it feel inevitable. And now, the entire MMA world is watching her. She's no longer just the next big thing. She's the one to beat. In conclusion, that girl's comment about Dakota being short and weak now totally misfires. Because Dakota proved, in under 2 minutes, that her size, whatever people may think, is irrelevant. Her skill, her timing, her power, her mind, and her heart, that's what defines her. And she used all of it to not just win, but dominate. When I watch her, I don't just admire her. I see a reflection of my own mission. I see where I want to go. I feel the fire. And I know that if I keep pushing, grinding, training, and believing, I can be in her position someday. Or even better, I can be the one she has to worry about next. Because in this sport, it's not just about who's next. It's about who's left standing.